Hey guys, Oops here coming with another video, and this one's going to be about the Haunt Contagion Soul Effigy / Soul Conduit build. And the reason I wanted to bring you guys attention to this today, and the reason I wanted to talk about it, is because I think it's going to be a fairly powerful build to be running in 7.1.5. And the reason I think this is going to be a powerful build to run is because of all the gear that's coming out that's going to affect this, and sort of the way that it's going to work out. Now, this build is fairly gear dependent, which sucks, but it's something that people who have the gear can look forward to running, and something that people who have the gear can maybe test out with and try it out, because Haunt is an abusable mechanic. Haunt says, if the target dies, Haunt's cooldown is reset. If you can abuse this mechanic as an Affliction Warlock, if you can abuse the fact that if a target dies, Haunt cooldown is reset, and if a target dies, UA cooldown is reset, you can make this build do insane numbers. So on any fight where there's a ton of ads spawning that live for a average, 12 to 15 seconds long, and they're spawning at a frequent rate, like a consistent rate, you're going to be able to generate a ton of damage with this build. And so yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about it today. Now, the gear requirements that I said were very strict is going to be the fact that I do feel like you need to have the hood in order for it to make this build work, because the hood basically makes it say Agony deals its full damage 10% faster, and that also translates to you get 10% more soul shards. And the fact that you get 10% more soul shards means that you have 10% more agony or UAs to put into Haunt, which is a big deal. The other thing that I would recommend having is the Finery, the set bonus from Nighthold. And what this does is Agony has a 1.15 times the normal chance to generate a soul shard, and what that means is you're just generating more shards with Agony as well. So when you put both of these things together, you're just generating a lot more shards for your Haunt. So yeah, that's a really good thing, because more UAs that go into Haunt, the more damage that the UAs do. Everything is really juicy. This force set and this helmet is not required for Malefic Grasp single target. Malefic Grasp single target does outdo the Haunt build single target, but that does not mean you can't have fun with it, and that does not mean it's a build that you should not try to use. So, with any further ado, I will go into how to do damage with this build. So you want to start by getting your Soul Effigy out and dotting the boss. All the good things that Warlocks do. So you dot the boss, you dot your Soul Effigy, you have some shards, you have some reaps. You're going to UA, reap, Haunt, and then dump your UAs. Now, you don't want to go crazy in dumping UAs. You don't want to dump to the point where you have no shards, because you want to maintain 100% active uptime on UA during the Haunt buff. So that's the last UA I'll put into the Haunt, because you want to maintain that contagion while the Haunt is up, because you want those modifiers to be affected together. So now I'll just be waiting and generating shards for my next Haunt burst. So my next Haunt's coming up in 10 seconds. I have some shards banked. I'm ready to go. And yeah, so now I'll do my UA. I'll reap, and then Haunt. And then I'll spam a couple UAs into the boss here, redot my effigy, all that good stuff. Maintaining dots at a very poor rate here. Not doing a great job. But yeah, you can see I'm maintaining my UAs during my Haunt buff, and the damage is not bad. It's not great. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but you have to consider that the set pieces that I'm using are lower item level than the gear that I was using during my Malefic Grasp test. So that's an important note. And also, doing over 400k, this will be over 400k when I finish my burst and stuff, is not bad single target. It's definitely really good. You can definitely pull, reasonable numbers with this build. No, it's not going to be as high as Malefic Grasp, nor should it, because it's a lot more movement friendly. It's a lot more abusable in the sense where there's ads available and things like that, but it's still going to be a viable build to run. I think Blizzard did a good job balancing it. So you see here on my next Haunt burst, when it comes off cooldown, I'm going to be able to pump a lot of damage, refresh my dots before this happens, get my Unstable Affliction out, pop my Reap, and then just go ham into this Haunt. So you can see my damage here is going to skyrocket, which is really good. But all your damage windows really revolve around that Haunt. It never really normalizes. It always kind of, goes up and down and up and down and up and down, which is kind of a fun thing to play around with. It's not a bad mechanic by any means. It's nice to kind of have a cooldown as a Warlock, even if it be only a 30-second one. So yeah, this is how the build works. You maintain your dots. Every time Haunt's about to come off cooldown, you press a UA, and then you'll Haunt into it, just like this. And you'll pop your stacks. And you'll keep your dots refreshed if you're a better Warlock than I am. And yeah, it's pretty fun. Pretty enjoyable build to run. I'm going to show you guys how the Soul Conduit build kind of plays out after this. So you see I get up to 450k DPS. That's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good when you think about it, right? Like right now on live with my current build running Wrath and Agony and Contagion, I get up to about 460k 450k. So that means this build's probably going to be one of the more viable builds come the patch hit, which is really, really nice. I think this build is going to be very, very powerful as long as you do have the foreset and the helmet. If you do not, it is going to be significantly less powerful, unfortunately. But hopefully some of you guys still try it out and still are able to have some fun with it. Now I'm going to show you guys how the Soul Conduit build kind of looks. Let's make sure I have no reaps going into it so it's not any biased or anything. So, alright, let's begin. So, same sort of deal. You just want to maintain your dots on the target. And the exact same thing. Except this time you're going to be spending a lot more time draining, right? So a lot more time drain souling during your haunt because you're not dotting the effigy, right? But yeah, I mean, this build's definitely still viable, running the 20% chance to refund. So I'm going to go about this for a little bit. But it's the same sort of deal. You just have a lot less macros to, like, efficiency to do with targeting the soul effigy and things like that. You're just refreshing dots, waiting for the haunt to come back up. And when the haunt comes back, you're going to want to UA, haunt, reap, and spam a bunch of UAs into it like this. Right? It's pretty good. I mean, it's definitely viable, right? It's definitely going to be, depending on RNG, it could be better than the soul effigy, but most likely it will fall short of the effigy build. I'm going to go about this for a little bit so you guys see the relative numbers, but it's definitely still doing okay damage, right? It's not bad, right? It's not as good, but it's not bad. Not bad. So if you really hate running Soul Effigy, you definitely don't have to with this build. You could definitely run Soul Conduit. You do lose some value, for sure, because you're not generating as many Soul Shards and you're not getting that extra Soul Effigy damage in. But that's okay. You don't need to, right? You don't need to do that to get still decent numbers. It's not too much less, right? Obviously, it's less movement friendly because you're using Malefic Grasp, or sorry, Drain Soul a lot more. But yeah, I mean, you know, 430k is pretty good. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. See where we can get. So yeah, I hope you guys really are excited about this. I'm excited about it. I will definitely be trying Haunt out on some of the bosses when it comes out, and I'll definitely be looking forward to power owning some of those logs and things like that with a build like this. And hopefully we can find some fun mechanics to use and abuse with this. So let's just go off here one more time. Let's haunt and let's get some UAs up on this boss here. Let's really burst him out here. Let's get all our damage out. So yeah, pretty good, right? I mean, you know, it's nothing crazy like the other one. Obviously, not as quite as focused as the other one. A lot easier to play than the other one. But yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. You have a lot of shards to deal with. You definitely have a lot of shards to manage with this build. So yeah. Anyways, this has been the Haunt build on the PTR. Hope you guys like this video. Hope you guys appreciate the content that's coming out. I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back from vacation and talking about all this stuff with you guys, and excited to continue making content. So happy New Year, guys, and I will see you guys next time.